Hi everyone, it's Nick with Build Up Advisory Group, and it's Fast Build Fridays, a web series where we will quickly build what you know about infrastructure design in the nonprofit sector. Today's Fast Build topic is the fundamental infrastructure considerations for nonprofit or social impact startups. I've spoken with a lot of people over these past few months who are interested in creating nonprofits or have just launched their nonprofits. Nonprofits and social impact vehicles that are in the very early stages of their development have so much to consider and so many decisions to make while simultaneously getting up and running and generating interest in and support for their work. These initial decisions are often the ones that will significantly impact their trajectories and their initial imprint. So there are key considerations that show up differently for startups, although the underlying infrastructure concepts are tried and true. I want to share the first of my two fundamental considerations for startups that are based on almost 2 decades of experience in working with startups in different environments, fields, countries, and regions around the world. And in my experience, I've found that in each case, if a startup doesn't have both of these considerations in its design and strategy, it will struggle significantly. The first consideration is that you have a compelling programmatic vision and strategy for your organization. You need a compelling vision that others will support and that actually reaches the communities you'd like to see change in. So what does that mean? It means that you need to make sure that this vision is something that pushes communities forward and inspires donors, partners, and supporters. And you have to ensure your strategy is effective. At such an early stage, you're only getting glimpses of what your strategy is creating, and you likely will not know how to determine effectiveness. So at the very least, you need to be clear on what your organization is bringing to the table, so to speak, that is so different but complementary to what already exists and is working. It doesn't make sense to create an attempt to sustain yet another organization that has no quote only. For example, being the only organization that seeks and advocates for change in a particular way or for a particular community. If you're struggling with determining your only at this stage, is fine. What makes the difference is that you're looking for it. Talk to the community that you're trying to help. What are they saying that they need? How can they be at the center of the problem solving? And how does your strategy accomplish that? Those questions are usually at the core of a compelling vision and strategy and get you to your only. Why does having a clear vision and strategy matter for infrastructure? Well, without a solid programmatic vision and strategy, infrastructure is useless. You cannot strengthen an inherently weak vision or strategy. I've seen it tried many times, and although the organization shuffles along for a while, it will eventually collapse on itself. So getting clear on vision and strategy is critically important when you're in startup mode. Figure this element out first before trying to build. It's a critical fundamental step to creating a strong, resilient organization. This fundamental consideration applies to both nonprofits and philanthropies. As a funder, the way you fund and the way you assess projects, initiatives, and grantees will highlight your vision and strategy, even if you don't articulate it. So be clear on your why, your only, and be even clearer on how you plan to get there, including how you provide the space to experiment to get there. You can only create a sustainable framework of governance, processes, grant making, and organizational design and structure if you have a compelling vision and strategy. So spending time understanding how you'd like to sustainably problem solve with vulnerable and marginalized communities is the barrier to entry for sustainable infrastructure. And that's our Fast Build. On our next Fast Build Friday, we'll continue the conversation about infrastructure considerations for startups with the second fundamental consideration. I want to hear how you are thinking about vision and infrastructure when it comes to startups. I'd love to hear from you and about your experience in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Have a wonderful weekend and keep building bravely.